Disruptive Branding: How to Win in Times of Change by Benbunan Gabor Schreier and Benjamin Knapp. In the words of late great brand expert Wally Owens, not that long ago, brands were nothing more but symbols of product consistency and barely existed outside of packaging. Nowadays, however, in addition to expressing standardized quality, brands express the authenticity, the relevance, and differentiation of entire organizations. In Disruptive Branding, Benbunan Gabor Schreier and Benjamin Knapp, three high-level employees of Saffron Brand Consultants, demonstrate the importance of brands in a rapidly changing business climate, and offer guidance on how to define and design powerful brand experiences. So get ready to learn why brands matter and how to make your brand work. Brands and Change: Understanding the Three Convergences. The first SIM card was developed in Germany in 1991. 3 decades later, there are more SIM cards on the planet than people. There can be no better proof of the fact that modern technology is changing the world at breakneck speed. It's not just that the brands face oblivion if they cannot keep up with the pace, it's also that brands are likely to be disrupted if they're not willing to become disruptors themselves. We are at the dawn of a world where all points converge: digital into physical, consumer into producer, global into local, writes Benbunan, Schreier, and Knapp. There are 2 ways for modern brands to navigate these changes, either by embracing them or being their instigator. Either way, they must be authentic, relevant, and differentiating, and must consider each of the 3 most important modern convergences: localization and globalization. Certain brands have succeeded in permeating almost every country on the planet, turning themselves into international reference points. They accomplish this by enacting a time-proof twofold formula: think globally, but act locally. Take McDonald's, for example. Once the paragon of standardization, America's biggest burger joint is today the best example of a brand that has successfully mastered the convergence of local and global. In India, it offers vegetarian Maharaja burgers instead of Big Macs. And in Chile, avocado puree is on the menu instead of barbecue sauce. But it's still McDonald's in each location, the same recognizable brand. Consumer and producer. Up until recently, consumers didn't have many ways to truly engage with a brand. Nowadays, however, they can criticize brands and demand change publicly on social media. Rather than passive, consumers are now at the driving seat of a consumer-centric, highly competitive world with the power to disrupt established brands. Case in point, 1 week after Gap tried to change its logo in 2010, its customers forced the company, via Facebook and Twitter, to issue a public apology and revert back to the old design. The event marked an important step of the evolution of consumers. You can call them prosumers now because they simultaneously produce the product they buy. Digital and physical. Contrary to early expectations, rather than putting an end to window shopping, the internet merely digitized it. It's easy to go online and buy something when you know what you want. However, only physical stores can offer you the option to experience something with all 5 senses. Paradoxically, for brands to stay immune to the technology disruptions, they must stay grounded in concrete, real-world experiences and treat technology as a means to fulfill their promise, not as an end in itself. Brand strategy: 3 questions and 3 elements. In today's competitive world, it is not enough to have an incredible product, world-class customer service, a professionally designed website, and a well-oiled supply chain. If you really want to stand out, you need to amalgamate all of these things into a compelling and inspiring narrative and deploy this narrative across the large number of touch points your employees and prosumers have with your brand. To do this, you need a brand strategy. A brand strategy, the authors say, is an articulation of what a company does particularly well, how it goes about doing it, and why it is different to all other companies that do the same or something similar. This third question, why, is the most important one and should be discussed first. It must lead to the formulation of the brand idea, namely the short, clear, and compelling narrative that sets forth what makes your brand authentic, relevant, and different. Defining a brand idea involves 4 steps: asking your employees to identify your company's strength, listening to what others are saying about your brand, thinking through the collected information, and refining the initial brand idea through tests and surveys. The brand idea should inspire the creation of a list of brand values, that is, truths that express how the company behaves and what it believes in. Consequently, these values must communicate a holistic worldview, simultaneously delimiting the expectations of your customers and steering the behavior of your employees. Like the values a person might have, brand values should be recognizable, differentiating, and long-lasting. The third and final element of brand strategy is the brand personality, which codifies the traits that govern your brand's communications. The brand personality is the answer to the question what, and expresses what your brand is like and what kind of tone and imagery it uses. Are you a serious and conservative company, or are you a lighthearted and modern brand? This is one of the things your brand personality should communicate with the rest of the world. Brand design, strategy made visible. Once you've defined your brand strategy, it's time to bring it to life through design. Without making your brand idea visual, no matter how inspirational it might be, it will struggle to clearly communicate the benefits it brings in an engaging way. Only good design can convey good brand messages and define a distinctive brand identity. Design, writes Benbunan, Schreier, and Knapp, is much more than a logo. It is a toolkit of elements, rules, and behavior that govern typeface, colors, motion, use of photography, and more. Neglecting these aspects can leave your company vulnerable to disruption. Conversely, paying attention to them can turn you into an unlikely disruptor. Take, for example, British digital-only bank Monzo. Thanks to countless weekly user testing sessions with customers and an online feedback gathering forum, it was able to come up with a clean, sleek, and intuitive user interface that immediately differentiated it from the competition. As a result, it currently has millions of customers. Owing to this success, traditional high street banks have recently started redesigning their old, clunky apps. They were forced by Monzo to pay more attention to the convergence of the digital and the physical. The creative process of making your brand strategy visible can be articulated in the following 4 phrases. 1. Exploration phase. During this phase, the creatives look at shapes, materials, colors, typography, imagery, or motion references that encapsulate the design idea which best expresses the attitude and personality of the brand. 2. Design phase. In the second phase, creatives draw up brand-inspired design concepts for every visual territory that has the potential to be turned into a communicator of the company's visions and values. 3. Development phase. Here, developed design elements are internally reviewed and design governing principles are established. In addition, the process is extended to products, services, experiences, and brand symbols. 4. Implementation phase. The moment of truth. The phase where everything gets rolled out and design is tested in real conditions. In response to the prosumer's reactions, additional adjustments are made. Internal engagement. Help your people help you. Everything brand-related begins inside your company. That's why internal engagement is essential to making your brand last. In the words of the authors, brand should be a concern for every single member of your organization. Even better, the needs and desires of your employees should be represented in your brand strategy. To engage your staff with your brand, you must make a concerted effort in the form of an engagement program. Your long-term effort to introduce the brand, familiarize staff with it, and permanently influence their behavior. These are just a few hallmarks of an effective engagement program. 1. Be clear on objectives. State the goals you're trying to achieve with your internal engagement effort in a straightforward way. 2. One size does not fit all. Be flexible with your engagement program. Rather than rigid rules, develop an array of open initiatives. 3. Let facts do the talking. Share figures and statistics with your employees, not just facts on growth, but also on gender and ethnic diversity. 4. Don't overload the system. Don't be too ambitious. Prioritize. 5. Involve top management. Be a spokesperson for the brand like Richard Branson for Virgin Group. Managers must walk the talk to inspire employees to follow. 6. Motivate people in ways that matter. Go beyond the legal contract. To inspire your employees to commit to your brand, offer them incentives, anything from overtime pay through career opportunities to public recognition. 7. Make it visual. Just like the company itself, employee engagement programs must have their own visual language, consistent with that of the brand overall. 8. Build on the existing. Don't start from scratch unless you know what you are doing. Build around the culture, strategy, and collaboration that already exists in your business. 9. Involve. Don't only inform. Offer interactive workshops, group activities, and even digital interactions. 10. Think long-term. The interval between rebranding initiatives is approximately 7 and 10 years. Engagement programs must cover this period. 11. A project of all. The internal engagement program should involve a broad range of people across all disciplines and units of the organization. Brand experience, a promise delivered. According to Benbunan, Schreier, and Knapp, brand is the promise of an experience delivered. Whether we want to or not, every time we're exposed to a certain brand, the experience leaves a lasting impression on our mind. We don't even need to be a customer. For example, even if you've never bought an Apple product, you've certainly experienced the company's brand strategy just by browsing the internet or passing by an Apple store. When designing a brand experience, your brand idea should be your guiding principle. However, designing great experience means considering many other components as well, including business strategy, brand uniqueness, and brand touchpoints. Allow us to put the emphasis on the verb designing here. Brand experience is usually a trial and error process before it becomes an identifiable message. Brand experience can be focused around product, behaviors, customer service, environments, or systems. In the most successful examples, it is a combination of all 5. To design the perfect brand experience, follow these 4 steps. 1. Define the message. Remind yourself of the key promise you're trying to convey. 2. Define your assets. Think of the vehicles. Consider the visual, verbal, and behavioral aspects of your brand. 3. Define your touch points. See where and how you interact with your employees and your prosumers. Audit them and learn what is working well and what is not. 4. Identify your moments of truth. The moment of truth is the point where the interaction with the brand turns into a decision to buy or to engage further with the brand. As such, it is no place for compromise. 5. Disrupt through experience. Think outside the box. Create luxury-like experience despite the low prices like Zara does. Or stimulate the senses like Lush or M&M stores. Challenge traditional codes. Inspire emotions. Final notes. Disruptive branding is a well-researched, well-written, and excellently structured guide to both surviving the digital revolution and leaving a mark. As of 2020, it is the final word on the subject of branding.
Hi, I'm Rhonda, and this is an exclusive audiobook video recorded for the Audiobook Master Channel. Enjoy your audiobook and have fun learning. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button so you'll get updated on our next upload. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up and say your thoughts about the book we just covered. Do you want to listen to a summary or review of a book that we haven't covered in the past? Say it in the comments below or send us a message. Don't forget to check our other uploads. Enjoy listening!